YouTube. We're doing a little just busy work on the weekend here. We are in our Kubota 75-3. It is a 2025 model. We bought it right at the end of last year, so it's mid-2026 right now. And we're hauling a little bit of dirty base over through my boneyard. You can see all my vehicles that we picked through. This bucket here, anybody that's bought implements knows that you can spend a small fortune on implements. We bought this 75-3 with a toothed bucket, a very aggressive toothed bucket. I did that because I didn't have a flat face bucket, which is what we're using here. But my flat face bucket, we seem to always use it over with the Gale skid steer, which is our wheeled unit. And so I was hunting around and needing a second flat face bucket. Now this I think is a 72-inch wide flat face bucket. We bought it brand new from Equipbid. Anybody that hasn't found Equipbid yet, they're pretty much just import Chinese implements. The quality of this bucket is definitely not what my Kubota bucket is, but for like $600, it's well worth $600. The metal seems to be good. You know, I haven't broken it yet. We've had it a few months now. So if you're not a commercial, contractor, some of this cheaper equipment like DIY stuff, you can see right here, we have a grapple bucket, we have a rototiller, and then we have a snow bucket. Oh, don't be pushing buttons. We have a snow bucket, and those are all also Equipbid. Arctier is one of the brands, or a lot of the brands that I have used or purchased. And again, they're not for a construction company, but for what we're doing, it's been really good. So gives us some options. Would I buy this skid steer again? Absolutely. It was a lot of money, but the amount of time is my biggest problem at the moment, is I don't have enough time. So anything that's going to help me multiply my time is worth it to me. And I've kind of always been that way. Even as a mechanic, I always had the best tools, the best equipment, and it has served and given me a good return on investment very, very well. So, sometimes you can buy and get away with the cheap things like this bucket, but however, this skid steer, compared to some of the older equipment I've had, some of the fixer-upper equipment that I've had, this skid steer has given me more ability to maximize my time investment. Oh, you can see there, I know it's a sea of junk right here. There's possibly a salvage yard in my future. If my wife ever watches this video, I won't do it at home. I will buy a property. But there is a Hydro bucket that I also bought. It's been a really good piece of equipment. Let's see if I can zoom in on it a little bit. Well, kind of. Right in the back of that bucket right here is a roller drum with a bunch of big teeth on it, or pins. And that has been something that's made this skid steer that much more effective. So when you buy a piece of equipment, a lot of people look at the cost of equipment. Oh, it's this, it's that, and you're right. It is this and that, but all these extra pieces or attachments really drive up the cost of ownership. But in turn, it just makes the equipment so much more useful, effective. This right here was 6 tons of dirty base, by the way. So you can see that we get, roughly a half a yard per bucket. able to get that with our 16-foot load trail dump trailer, which goes hand in hand with the skid steer, with the dump truck, with the concrete mixer. I mean, all of this stuff. If I had to pay somebody to do this pad or pay somebody to do this, you know, even the gravel work that we're doing right here, it just wouldn't really be feasible. And I get it, you can do a lot of this by hand, you know, with your pickup truck and a shovel. And if you're the guy or gal out there doing that, more power to you. That's awesome. I'm hoping that not that I'm too good to run a shovel, but I'm hoping that part of my life is over, because I've done plenty of that. And the sweat equity is great, but it takes forever in a day to get anything done. Where we're going to move 6 tons of material, have it mostly finish graded in, I don't know, about 15 minutes. And yes, you can go rent equipment. There's a lot of people out there that, even a lot of professional businesses that tout equipment rental. And don't get me wrong, I do equipment rental too. I was just over there a couple weeks ago renting a plumbing camera to fix a drain problem that we had. And I'll be over there in another few weeks renting like a towable boom lift so I can do some sign work and some roofing work. Now, if I get the opportunity to buy a piece of equipment like that, I'm probably going to do it, because we got a lot of things going on. I don't get a lot of time always to do the podcasts that we've been doing, and so I'm kind of trying to figure out how to, you know, bring you guys along for stuff like this. I don't know that it interests you at all, and this is not a how-to, but this is a how I'm doing it. I did not invent that. I heard it from another YouTuber, and I love it. I think it's a very good piece of advice, or disclaimer, if you will. There's a lot of experts out there and a lot of people that do this stuff better than I do. I have learned a tremendous amount in the comments, but I've also learned that everybody's an expert in the YouTube comment section. So it's kind of like Googling something on Wikipedia. You just you got to fact check it a little bit. So if you're in the comments trying to help, man, I love it. If you're in the comments hating, well, probably not going to give you a whole lot of my time, because it ain't worth what you're putting out there. I'll probably just backdrag the last little bit of that, and then we'll backdrag, you know, and smooth this out a little bit over here, and then there will be a little final raking that needs to be done. I'll try and leave it a little high next to the pad. I did already get the bucket into the corner of the pad and knocked a little chunk of the pad off, so I feel like a bum for doing that. Completely my fault. Literally operator error. But we're not wanting to get real crazy. Yes, should I get out and move this stuff? 100%. Am I going to? No. We're just going to back drag it, and maybe I'll pull it out later. You guys can't see it, but I do have a backup camera that lets me see when I put it in reverse behind me. But what we're going to do now is just get somewhat close to the pad, and then there's a float feature with this bucket. So we're going to creep on up there. We're going to do our absolute due diligence not to get into the pad this time. And as we creep down, I don't know if you saw that relax. Now that has a float feature. And that bucket and the loader is just going to use the weight of it in order to back drag that pile. Well, if you can see that there, hopefully. It's not a one and done. Hey, look at that. That worked out for me. See if we can get that on out of there. So I've run into nothing. But it allows, as we come up off this pile, it allows the loader and just the sheer weight of it to do a real good job grading that down. Now again, if you are a commercial professional operator, you're probably cringing at what I'm doing right now. But we're just needing to pull grade so the water runs away, but I can get my trucks up on this pad. And so that's all I'm trying to do, is go from a high spot to a low spot. And it just takes a little time. That's the beautiful thing about, equipment, is if you're patient, it's pretty impressive of what it'll do. And this is all nice, loose equipment. And I'm leaving a little berm here. I'm leaving it high because I need to rake that back to get me on the same grade as that pad. So this is just to keep me out of the mud, basically. And as you can see, it looks like I'm going to need a little more, so there will be another trip or two. And this may be just the foundation. Hopefully I can go to like some clean base. Go to some clean base. And the reason I want clean base, and the difference of that, I have a lot of dust in this. This is all clean base over here. I don't track that into the shop or into the house, but it doesn't pack quite as well. Now they make something called a Type 5, and I think that's what I've switched to. This is 1/2 and 3/4 clean. But I think we're gonna switch to that Type 5 going forward, because it still has some packing capability to it. Now I do have a plate compactor. We may or may not plate compact this, I don't know. I will probably just roll it with the machine. We're gonna get into the clean a little bit, but out here, not such a big deal. Really, we just use this machine shed over here to put our lawnmowers in, and just some random stuff. So I just want to make sure the mowers get around easy enough, and then we'll do the final raking. But this big rock is going to be a problem right here. If I try and back drag it, it's going to dig in under the bucket and make a big old feral ditch right there. So I think what I'm going to do with it is I'm just going to scoot it for now. I should get out and move it, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to put it right next to that 4x4 right there. And yes, there is a little black topsoil that it's going to drag into this, but again, this is just to give me a transition and keep me out of the mud over here. I potentially am going to use this more than I did before for parking vehicles that are lined up or in the queue to be worked on. Make sure we do not get into the pad. This is what I was doing over here when I got into the pad the other day on the brand new concrete. But she's starting to lay out there. That's kind of what I'm looking for. It's got to be 2 feet thick, nothing like that. once, cry once. Now, obviously, I don't have an unlimited budget, so again, we started with multiple used pieces of equipment. I say used. I say that like I bought them and they were like working. We started with multiple broken pieces of equipment, just so we're clear. And we fixed them, and then we sold them to work our way. I didn't buy this one outright. I do make a monthly payment on it. I was able to sell some other equipment that I've got in order to help offset some of that cost. But this one still ain't cheap. So I guess I should probably talk about this real quick. This is a bunch of reclaimed lumber that we salvaged and then we used to build the shipping container building you'll see here in a minute. That I'm probably gonna, it's a big flatbed that a fertilizer company had. Probably gonna scrap it. This old yellow tractor, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, whether I'll build it or scrap it. And then most of this stuff's going to scrap. I just haven't had time to do so. But there's never enough time. But thankfully we got another day today. And we'll keep at it. All these are in the queue to get fixed. We're probably about halfway through the max amount that I've had. So I'll take that as a win. Some of these up front here are sold. Or going to be sold. Property. I know a lot of folks probably live in town. When you got property, if you don't have equipment like this, it is, I would say, almost an impossible battle. You can see those big rocks. They make grading right here terribly bad. We've had to do some trenching in here, and those big rocks are literally native rocks that we dug out of the ground. When we bought this place, there was no gravel. And that's what got me building the first dump truck, was I paid a whole bunch of money to have one truckload of gravel brought out. And no shade on the dump truck guys. I know their hauling and equipment is crazy expensive. But being as I'm a mechanic by trade, it has been really nice to be able to haul my own rock, especially because we're within about 5 or 6 miles of Clever Stone. You can see another one of my dump truck projects there. I need to get the cylinder rebuilt in it. But we're pretty much done with the old skid steer. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. We're putting it in the shipping container building that you can see where we built this over the winter. It's not done yet, but it helps keep all this equipment out of the sun. And so I'm staring at the backup camera now. We're backing her in the corner, almost to the wall, and we are. But thanks for hanging out with me. 20 minutes didn't seem like it had gone by, but we're getting pretty close. If you got nice equipment, keeping it inside is a big deal. Even if you got old, tired equipment, the sun really beats on them bad. So when we bought the skid steer, did I have this? Yeah, this was already up. So thankfully it has been at least under roof since we bought it. I think it sat outside a couple of nights, but I try not to. I know over here you can see some of my implements. I need to get those inside. Maybe I'll get to that today. Maybe I won't. We'll see. But thanks for hanging out with me again. We're going to go on to a new project. You got thoughts, comments, questions, criticisms? I look forward to hearing from you in the comments. We'll catch you on the next one.